Ah, the lovely colors. This is a photo I took 2 weeks ago at Mizzen Head in Ireland. We just came back from a lovely holiday, and here are a few photos that I took while we were away. Ireland is a beautiful country, and I'd love to go back there someday. But now I'm back home again, and it's time to do some quilting. Here I am starting a new project with 5-inch squares, 5.5-inch squares, and some strips. I'm going to use my flying geese ruler, I guess, because I'm going to make multiples. So the first thing I have chosen to do is select 5-inch squares. And what I'm going to do with the 5-inch square is to put a row of 2-inch strips from my bin here. And I'm just picking out colors randomly, something that has a lot of contrast. I'm picking out a lot of browns and some blues and some pinks, but some other colors as well. And I'm taking a 5-inch square, putting a 2-inch strip of fabric around the whole square, and then I'm going to cut that square in half diagonally once. And I will have two halves that have a center and a 2-inch strip around the outside. That's pretty obvious. And once I have that done, I'm going to move on to the 5.5-inch square, cut it diagonally, and sew it onto the two corners. So here's a bunch of my 5-inch squares. You see, they're all very different. Everything that I get from people is what they have left over from what they've made. So I get all kinds of things with motifs, things with small patterns, but I do get a lot of brown fabric. I think I think that's a hard thing to do, a hard thing to use sometimes, all that brown. But brown is a good neutral color, and it does have a lot of um, applications. So I use it with blue, I use it with pink, use it with gold colors, autumn colors, all kinds of colors. So it's an easy one to work with, and it makes lots of good serviceable quilts. When I select a fabric for the 2-inch strip that's going to go around each of these 5-inch blocks, I just like to have quite a bit of contrast. If the block is light, I go with a darker strip. If the block is dark, I go with a lighter strip. But some of them are going to have lots of patterns. Some of them are going to be some plain colors. It's all going to be a variety of color. And I think I like quilts that have lots of different colors. So that's going to be a nice one for me to make. When I finish sewing the 2-inch strip around the outside, I give the block a good press. So when I cut diagonally, it is going to have a very good border for me to use. So here is one that I've done, and you see the pieces of brown that I put around the outside are not necessarily the same piece of fabric. They're a variety of different browns, but I tried to keep something uniform going around the outside. So here I have cut diagonally one of my 5-inch squares with a 2-inch strip around it, and now I'm using the Flying Goose ruler. You see in the center of the Flying Goose ruler there's a hand, and that is going to go right at the point of the triangle. And I'm using the ruler with the full extent, but you can make any kind of size with this ruler. It's going to be a really handy one to have. I really haven't gone much into buying a lot of different rulers, and when I get a new one, it's sort of fun to see what happens with it when I start playing around. So here are the 5.5-inch blocks that I'm going to put on the sides of the finished flying goose block that I've just trimmed up. And you see now, if the strip around the outside is dark, then the outside corner piece is going to be a contrast as well. And that's the way I'm working this quilt. Just keeping it light dark, using contrast, picking out a variety of colors. And here I've got on my wall a bunch that I have finished. And you see it is going to be quite colorful. And I've got one row of geese flying up and one row of geese flying down. And probably I'll just continue until I get something as big as I want it to be. Then I'll sew them together and quilt them. I could quilt them in rows, but I think I'm just going to quilt this one as a full quilt, and I'll figure out what I'm going to do with it. But you know something? I'm going to have another holiday, and I'm going out tomorrow, and I won't be back for another week. So I'm going to post this one right away and see what happens when I come back next time. I hope you're having a good summer, but I'm having a really great summer traveling around and visiting people and seeing all kinds of things. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, and you'll have to wait and see what happens with these flying geese when I come back next in a couple of weeks. All right, have a nice time. Thanks for watching, and if you like this, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. If you have some questions, just ask me about it. All right, see you next time. Bye.